I really have taken the philosophy of like, look for that person alone or in the corner of the room. And you can make a great friend along the way and create just a group, getting to know someone new.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Rethink Everything podcast. And I'm excited for this one because I feel like, Lindsey, you're an OG of the Rethink Everything. Like, it feels, even though the networking book wasn't until book number 9, I feel like you and I have spent more time together on this Rethink Everything journey. Really, you and Brian View are probably the two people that I've spent the
Oh,
most time with. And you've just had such a profound impact in the new things that we're doing, the community that we've launched, the podcast that we're on. And so I'm so grateful to have you on. And I'm excited for the people to get to learn about who is Lindsey Meyer and what do you do in your life? And then we're going to talk about how you've contributed to the Rethink Everything brand and movement. And so thank you for being on the show today.
I mean, I couldn't have a better introduction, and thanks for warming my heart. And I mean, I have such a passion for the Rethink Everything series and books, and just as a networker and connector, I think you've grown a tremendous, group of people and a family.
Yeah.
When I go to different events, I can say, "Hey, Steve Kick, would you like to come to this event, represent as the beer community's lending partner?" Or, "Hey, Tammy Hajar Miller, would you like to do this?" And because they're authors, you can connect
Yeah,
that Rethink brand and then highlight the different books. So
that's right.
thank you. I've loved being a part of it. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate
Yes.
it.
So update everybody on, you've kind of shifted what you do for a living kind of inside of our space over the last several months. And so, do you want to update the people on what your life looks like day to day right now?
Sure, I'd love to. Well, I changed my desk around, so the feng shui is pretty hot up in here. It
It
just helped
is.
me kind of regroup and clean my desk and have a different look. So I have to say, just freshening up things. I started at Settlewise, which is a Lodestar company, about maybe it's a month and a half, 2 months now, which has been fantastic. I've also been a vendor and worked with them, so it's been quite a few years that I've really enjoyed watching them grow and being able to connect. So they have an amazing fee quote tool. They are the fee experts. So I have now been learning, a much different kind of demographic and niche, which
Yeah.
has really sparked my mind. And I'm also love contributing to the books and Rethink Everything, about craft beer just launched. Jess Merritt, give it up to her.
Yes.
She did a great job. So staying present in the community and continuing
That's
those
right.
networking groups and connecting people is really my passion. So
Yeah, we
that's
we
where I'm
had
at.
Jess on the last episode, and she was great. I love learning about craft beer, and somehow I didn't even know this until after the book was already out, that you are chapter 20 in the craft beer book. And so what what was the inspiration behind the the chapter you chose to write?
I bounced off my chapter in Rethink Everything, about networking and coming down to it. It's all about community and having a passion for something, a shared interest. I build a lot of my network and my friends around it. I was a single mom for 10 years, and that was my community where I can go and learn about something, not just drink a bunch of beers, but
Yeah.
sit with the people, talk with people, meet other single parents, meet friends, and just continuing to grow the community. And I realized I had such an interest. I volunteered. And so that got me a lot of different viewpoints and experience. So it's about community, it's about networking, it's about, even if you're not a craft beer lover, just what the community brings. There's a lot of artistic aspects and a
Yeah.
lot of local support. So
Your
I'm sorry,
cat
my
is
cat
going
Zeppelin just
nuts.
crashed. If you heard that, so apologies. My assistant is getting a little, busy.
We got there might need to be a cat book in our Rethink Everything
Oh,
future.
yes. Just stop giving me ideas, Kyle. I already have
Sorry.
like a
Sorry,
whole
sorry.
page and a half
I know.
from
I
you.
know.
But
So,
I would love that.
I think we need one. I I'm allergic to cats, so I don't
Okay.
have any, but,
We'll
um,
talk about that. I want to pause. I want to flip that back on you. You
yeah.
know, from working with you, writing the number 9 book, now more books coming out.
Yep.
What have you done to grow yourself? I'm sure there's more opportunities. Just your world in general. It's exploding. So catch us up all, or catch us and me up,
Yeah.
please.
Well, for those of you that know me, I like to dabble in lots of things, and, so I've been working over the last couple years at dabbling in less things, and so I think what I've learned the most lately is just the importance of being intentional with your time because we only have so much of it, um, and so, Rethink Everything and then Higher Culture, my virtual assistant remote staffing company, those are really my 2 things now. Like, those 2 things get most of my effort, and, just in the last 30 days, we've launched the podcast for Rethink Everything. I think this will be, like, episode 8, something like that, and so I'm excited for that. We've launched a community for all of our authors and contributors, which, I'm really excited about, of just, it's amazing the community we've built without having anything that really drives community other than just good people. And
Right.
so I'm excited about having an actual community where we can, spend time together. There's, and we've nerded out on it. There's channels for each book. So you can be in your own channel with your own book, but then there's a big channel for everybody. Um, I think at some point that'll open up and we'll have a whole community just for the people that like our books,
Right.
where we just begin to grow the fan base. We've launched a store, and so, like, I have, my purple Rethink Everything hoodie on right now, even though it's in the 80s in Texas. I'm wearing it
I met you
because
through
it's
the
new.
purple book. So I like it.
Yeah,
I'm glad.
and so, we've got so much going on with the brand. I think we're gonna end up having our first event before the year's over, and, I don't know what that's gonna look like, but it's gonna be
Wait,
awesome.
am I helping you?
Of course you will. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, if you desire to.
Absolutely.
Um, but there's so many ideas swirling around in my head, and you and so many of our other authors, y'all are always thinking of ways to expand. And so we are not short on ideas here at Rethink Everything. And the best is yet to come. I know that's cliche, but I truly believe like we're just kind of scratching the surface of what this is going to become. And it's going to be fun as the kind of early adopters of this thing to get to say, man, do you remember back when it was just us? And now look at this,
Yeah.
and um so that's enough. That's enough about what we've got going on, because I do want to talk a little bit about on this episode about networking, because that's what you wrote about in the craft beer book. You and Liz Short, y'all wrote the book on networking. Y'all were just at an event where y'all had a Rethink Everything panel with a couple of other contributors, and I heard it was incredible. I want to understand what why do most people get networking wrong?
Now, I don't want to look at it as it's wrong. I think most people are scared to grow with
Okay.
networking. And you need someone sometimes to really be in your corner and help you out. So I really have taken the philosophy of like look for that person alone or in the corner of the room.
Yeah.
And you can make a great friend along the way and create just a group, getting to know someone new. So I don't want to say people get it wrong, but I'm not sure if people feel when it's right as much as they should. So how do you get that maximum feel good benefit? Hey, is this someone I could talk to again? Like I really like? Is this someone
Yeah.
more business? Is this just someone that I met and made it as a contact? How do you align and categorize your relationships?
When did networking like really click for you? Where like you thought, wow, I'm really good at this.
I wanna say college, and that's what my
Really?
story's about in Rethink Everything, about networking, Ray can. Um, I was able to grow, meet a lot of people, had a lot of opportunity that I took. Being in a sorority, growing my friendships just from the very beginning before school started, and saying yes to a lot of things. So college really helped me grow, network, engage in the community. And if you read my chapter, you'll be able to learn a little bit more about my journey on that.
Yeah, you had a lot of pictures that you wanted in your and I remember we had to kind of be like, well, that's a lot of pictures. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
what
I should have
what
made a
did
role
you
like Tammy and Bernie. They had a nice little video they put together,
I
but
know.
I've realized it's hard to explain what I do. What do you want? What do you do? And I'm a very eclectic person who's done a lot, I realize as this chapter's come out and whatnot.
Well, here's how I would say it. You are a connector and collector of people,
That's beautiful.
right? I think you're a collector of people,
Mhm.
you know? There's probably, you've obviously spent a lot of time in the mortgage space where the Rethink Everything brand has been very heavily involved up to this point. And that whole like 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon,
Mm.
like that's, like you're the Kevin Bacon in the mortgage
Oh my
world.
gosh, it's so funny. That's not the first time someone's told me that, but now it's catching on more.
It's so true. And
Oh, thank you.
I I think it would be fair to talk about for a sec, like to truly be good at what you do, which we call networking, you have to truly care about the outcome for others. And I think in a lot of networking environments that I've been in over the years, and I've been guilty of this, it's so easy to walk into a room and be like, okay, I've got 20 business cards in my pocket. I got to give all 20 of these things out to people. And so I make it all about me and I pass out all these business cards. I go back to my car, my pockets are empty, and I'm like, yes, I did it. All 20, they're gone. And all 20 of those people will never reach out to me ever again because I made that entire environment about me and not about them. And I think that's what you do really well is you make it about others. How how do you how do you stay grounded in that desire when like you've taken on a new role? There are going to be KPIs that are going to justify you or make you expendable, right? So like you have to ultimately achieve things.
Yeah,
How do you walk that line of at the end of the day, I gotta do what I gotta do, but then also keep it about other people?
I don't think about other people first. It just comes naturally. And so when I do build those relationships, whether it's a client or just a friend or another parent, it's very important for me to connect and actually, I mean it. I want to build that relationship. I think the process and what we're looking at, I'm just going to tap on you on like, what do people do wrong? I wouldn't use that word, but when you mentioned business cards, I went to the ICE conference recently last
Yeah,
week in Vegas. I came back with 6 business cards. 6.
it's not a
It's
lot.
dying. It's a
Yeah,
dying breed. So now it's like, well, do you want those 20 cards in your pocket? Recognizing this trend, what do you do to now pivot so that you reach out to people digitally? And as Liz Short touches in her book, create that personal CRM so that you're touching the people based on the
yeah,
category on how often you want to touch and make it personalized because personalization is important. But I also believe group and mass emails checking in a week before end of month is not a bad thing either.
right.
So I think it's just how to be intentional, continuing to stay on top of the systems. And, I've just learned a lot from people and it's whatever works best for you. But automation helps so much as you keep growing that community, you don't want to lose people. And I know I've lost people along the way that I
Yeah,
should be touching base with more
yeah.
frequently. So I'm building that. I'm in process.
In process. Yeah,
Mhm.
automation took me a long time to
Yeah.
get okay with. I think in like for me being a high touch, like personal person, that's almost like a 4-letter word, because it makes me think, oh man, I'm losing my superpower the moment I automate something. But there is great power in certain things being automated, as long as we're not choosing to ultimately automate everything at the expense of, the personal touch.
Well, and that fear of trying something new is very common, but then you take it at 3 months and at 6 months or 2, 4, 6 months to see how it's performing, how many clicks, is it the right
Yeah,
content, play around with it, have it fun, let people know, hey, I'm trying to automate. What would you like to see from me? You
yeah,
know, what updates would be critical as far as a newsletter or this? So I think that like walking into a room, walking into a new tech, walking into a new system, walking into a new employee, getting to know like people, anything that you're walking into is going to feel a little uncomfortable. But I think if you have the metrics and the idea of how you're going to measure that,
yeah.
that's then key.
100%. What do you think, Lindsay, was because to pull back the curtain to the listeners, right? The way we do our books is we give out the topics to all the different contributors, and then we very intentionally do not do a hard edit on the book, because in the traditional editing world, right, somebody is editing a book to sound the same throughout, and we don't want it to be that way because there could be 10, 15, 20, 30 people in there. And so we want each book to feel completely original, or each chapter in the book to feel completely original. We want the voice of the contributor to be very obvious in their chapter. And so we rely heavily on our lead authors. For your book, it was you and Liz, to do a light edit, more of a grammatical edit on the chapters, right? We're just making sure people aren't showing up looking ignorant because they forgot periods or commas or whatever. And so you you got to read the chapters kind of over and over and over again. What was something that stood out to you that maybe you weren't anticipating to learn as you read through other people's chapters?
I think overall, having guidance, having check-ins really help people. A lot of people, when they say, would you like to write a chapter? Oh, I don't know if I have the time. And that's all, I totally get it. I had no idea what I was walking into. But the way that I personally grew is I spent so much time. I had like 3 different stories I could have turned in. I can be an overthinker. But then for the craft beer book, I probably sat down for 2, 3 hours and I had grown so much in knowing how to write, being confident, not
Yeah.
overthink. Am I talking too much about myself? And then I look at the book and everyone's talking about their experiences, whether it's their kids, their families. Like it touches on so many different points. So that's where it's when you came to us, and I think it's a very important point, Kyle, that you can even promote. It's important to have your voice. It's okay if it's not perfect. Use a word that may not be in a dictionary, you told us. I mean, it's okay. And
Yeah.
I think now in this world of AI where we're competing, I just posted on the M Dash, it's okay to make a mistake. It's okay, but we were there to guide them along the way and we learned
Yeah.
ourselves when we needed to step in a little more. And that's why we had two copywriters, Alex and Jess, that really helped us volunteer
Yeah.
and then incorporate a chapter.
So I have one final question for you. And this is totally random,
Great.
but I have fallen into this trap on TikTok where there's this channel that asks celebrities what their last meal would be. And it's fascinating,
Okay.
like all the things that they say. And so I want to know, Lindsey Meyer, you know that this is going to be your last meal. What are you demanding?
Mm. It's gonna have to be like tacos or fajitas, or if I have an unlimited option, I go for
Yeah,
like the
it's not. Yeah,
Portillo's
yeah.
hot dog. I go for a
Yep.
deep dish slice from Giordano's. I'd probably definitely have like a burrito from Chipotle or somewhere I love. Um, and maybe nut, Oreo fudge nut sundae that my mom makes. If you want the recipe, DM me. But
Whoa.
yeah, I mean, great. Now I'm hungry, Kyle.
I know. I am too. And it's lunchtime.
How
So,
about you? What's your answer?
you know, I've been thinking through it
Yeah.
since I've been watching these videos, and I haven't landed on officially what it would be yet. But I know that sushi would be involved
Ooh. Yeah.
because that's my family's go-to. Well, 3 of my 5. We pick up McDonald's for the other 2.
Okay.
But, yeah, so sushi would for sure be involved in it. Um,
Can we just
probably
say
a
like a Las Vegas buffet, like the best one? Can you just get me into
Okay,
that?
well, so my favorite Las Vegas buffet is Wicked Spoon in the Cosmopolitan,
Okay.
and it's delicious, and last time I was in Vegas, we tried to go, and it was closed,
Oh, bummer.
and I'm still sad.
Yeah.
So,
It make it
not
that much
fun.
more
So,
special now.
thanks for bringing that up. It's so
We both
painful.
have something to be thankful for.
That's right. People and buffets. That's what we're thankful for. Lindsey, you're the best.
You
Appreciate
too.
you. Guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. You never know. The next episode could be the announcement of the next book in the series. We've got a couple new ones coming out this month. And so be on the lookout. Also, if you want to write a book, if you want to be a part of a team that writes a book, this is your moment. And so reach out. We'd love to have a conversation. Appreciate you guys. Talk to you soon.
Thank you, Kyle. Bye,
See ya.
guys.